So I was asked to do a video on the newer body style Ford F-150s. And when I mean newer, I mean just 5.0, 2.7 liter, 3.5 liter. So there are more engines than what people actually know. There's a 3.5 liter NA motor. There's a 3.7 liter NA motor. There is a 5.0 NA motor, 2.7 liter twin turbo EcoBoost, and a 3.5 liter twin turbo EcoBoost. 3.5 liter twin turbo making more power than any of them. When people ask me which one I prefer out of the group, I prefer the 5 liter. I like that standard American V8 engine. What I don't like is, no matter what engine you get, you could run into timing chain issues. Which one is the most problematic that I see often? That would be the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, because the timing chains, the amount of power that it makes, there's some things that I think the consumer should do when they buy one of those vehicles. They should buy a catch can and any of that extra junk, evap coming out, not evap, but blow by and stuff coming out of the motor would run through the catch can. 5.0 has timing chains, but I don't ever see them in the shop for timing chain issues. I mean, maybe one or two in the last year and a half. But I could count on hands and toes the amount of 3.5 liters that come in for timing chain slap and rattle and phaser issues. And great motor, makes a ton of power, just something I don't prefer. I love the sound of the 5 liter better, especially with just a basic exhaust system on it. It sounds super nice. I love the way it takes off and that low end grunt and torque that comes out of it. It's really, really nice. I don't experience that with a 3.5 EcoBoost. The 2.7s, I don't like them at all. I think they're a junk motor. You know, that's just my personal opinion. Really, they're not. The 2.7s make a ton of power for what they are. But, you know, I pulled up next to a, what did we get? We had like a 13 or 14 Chevy, 4-wheel drive, just basic LS1. We were gonna go from one dealer to another dealer for a specific reason. I forget what it was. And me and the other mechanic that was driving the vehicles, I drove the 2.7 liter EcoBoost, and he drove the Chevy with the LS. Now both of these had like a small lift with big tires. And I tell you what, the way that 2.7 liter spanked that truck with that LS motor was unreal. I just walked off and left that guy. I mean, both of us laid it wide open just to see what these things can do when it comes to performance against each other. That little 2.7 liter made him embarrassed. It was pretty embarrassing. So that truck shits and gets for a little truck that it is. It does. It's just, I've had to do cylinder heads on them. I've had customers come in with 5,000, 10,000 miles saying, why do I have exhaust smoke on startup? Come to find out, it's a valve guide issue and everything else. And I've had to do one cylinder head on the passenger side, a cylinder head and on both sides, and then a driver's side cylinder head due to smoking on startup. And that was like the 15, 16 model, I think, 15, 16, if I remember correctly. I just don't like the small bore engines, the smaller bore engines. I mean, I'm not even a huge fan of the 3.5 like I am the 5 liter for that reason. So I guess you could say I'm a little biased towards them. But then when you get into like actually more reliable than all those, I would say the 3.5 and the 3.7. They're fleet trucks typically. You can still get them in 4-wheel drive. You can still get them, you know, right around 300 horsepower. There's a guy at work, he ended up finding a diamond in the rough. There's a fleet company that traded in their 3.5 liter 4-wheel drive F-150 XL, and it had 19,000 miles on it. I think it was a 2017. He ended up picking that truck up for $18,000. He loves it every single day, back and forth to work. Four-wheel drive, nice 300 horse motor. He absolutely loves it. He said I could have never asked for a better truck. It is what it is. I mean, you just, maybe 80, 90,000 miles, you'll be going and doing a water pump, maybe a timing chain. I know some people don't like the fact that, a water pump could leak into the oil. I've never seen a water pump on one of these trucks leak coolant into the oil. I know there's stories on the internet and stuff like that, but I do this as a profession every day. But what I can tell you is I've never seen a water pump on one of these newer trucks or these newer motors. As many water pumps and timing chains and stuff that have went out that I've done never end up in the oil. But I'm not going to say it's not possible. The 3.7 liter they had in the cop cars, and because the cop cars idled so much, they had catalytic converter problems, and you would have to go through, if you had a PL420 or PL430 code, and you replace the cats. And then they had come up with some updated programming for it. I never heard that issue in the F-150 because these vehicles are typically running. But again, it's another good motor. Another motor that would last pretty good. I'm just not a fan of the EcoBoost stuff. I'm really not. If you could learn to clean that engine up, the brand new EcoBoosts are much better, just for the simple fact that they do have direct and port injection, so the valves are getting cleaned now. But before, it wasn't that way. It was direct injection, and the valves at 40,000 miles looked like they had 150,000 miles. So if I had to choose between all these motors, I would pick the 5 liter. The 5 liter would be my choice. The 5.0 YOTE, the tried and true Coyote engine that's what I would go with. It's my professional opinion. They're a little noisy sometimes, fuel delivery sounds, and like a little tick tap here and there, but that's a characteristic of this engine. It's been that way. It doesn't cause any problems. Nobody that I know of has ever reported any problems from the characteristic of the little tick tap sound that comes from them. It's just nature of the beast. I know people don't like to hear that, but it is what it is. So that's my take on the 50, 35, 27, 37, 35, and maybe eventually the 33 thrown in there. But it's just that's where I'm at. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.